Hey, hello everyone. I'm back because I was reading all the comments you have in this after my first today's weather, and I'm really impressed because you guys come from some cool questions. Let me clarify some of those. I have been answered, but I realized wow, so many questions. It'd be impossible to answer one by one, so I collectively I put together some ideas. Well, first of all, hurricanes, they don't collide. The energy and the dynamic structure, it be impossible. There is no way they can. But however, hurricanes might have interaction of other systems like a cold front. There's a famous one happened in Halloween. I think it was 1991. They called the perfect storm. Remnants of a hurricane interact with a cold front, and the hurricane got another bump and become strong again. That's possible. So hurricanes use warm water. Why warm water is important for them? Because something you're gonna learn in chapter 7, you talk about humidity and all the energy, latent heat. This energy the water can have and release in the atmosphere. That's the fuel for our hurricanes. That's what happened. So when the hurricanes landfall, it lost their source of energy. However, they keep bringing, still carry on this tropical moisture, and that's why they manage to travel sometimes long distance and still as the remains of that hurricanes, and sometimes some physical process happen and the hurricanes go transform from tropical storm to extra tropical storm. But that's more deep stuff. I'm not going there. But becomes something else. But it's still with a lot of energy. So right now in the Gulf of Mexico, Hurricane Laura starts to moving. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning is gonna landfall, and right now is a Category 1. So let's take a look what's happened in the Gulf of Mexico right now, and you see some animation I can show you. So you see the cyclonic circulation around the hurricane. So by Tuesday you have the system starts to moving and landfall. As you can see here, very strong one, very strong winds. Let me close up. You see some areas when landfall you expect winds over 90 miles per hour around. So look at the hurricane structure. Where you see the strongest wind, always you be in the right quadrant. So but another interesting fact we see right now in terms of rain is, if you look at this, the radar, the outest rain we have here over Georgia, and you see, let me go back in the last 12 hours, you can see all this rain coming in a band. So that's a direct related of a hurricane. But even though the hurricane is way farther right now, but if you see the wind in the surface doesn't tell the whole story. But if you go a little higher in the atmosphere, little higher in the atmosphere, you start to see the circulation. So all the storms is associated with this upper atmospheric circulation. They express the outflow of the hurricane. And also north here you have a very strong winds they call the jet stream. All then make the hurricanes after landfall, look what's gonna happen is they start to turn around and moving westerly and finally disappear by next week. So there's some interesting factors. So let's have another look. The hurricane right now, at this moment, it is 4 o'clock, 4:40s, wind 75 miles per hour. It should characterize a hurricane Cat 1, and you're expecting increase the wind speed later on, so might become a Cat 2 or Cat 3 in this case here, and landfall in the south. We expect a lot of flooding and storm surge in this area. So think about where the hurricane landfall. Let me go back the winds at the surface. You see the pressure, the center. So what happened in this moment when the landfall? That's where you expect very area here of storm surge, because the wind moving bring out this water from the ocean, and that's why it's going to be lifted by strong winds and pushed towards the continent, producing a lot of what they call storm surge. In this area, normally you have in this case some areas over 9 foot high, so, and flooding and other things happen. So that's one. Another question you have is about global warming. Yes, the warmer temperature, scientists have been saying you expect more frequent storms and also more strong storms. So far, you haven't seen any signature, even though some people mention, for example, Hurricane Katrina or the season of 2005, where you have a record number of hurricanes. But we don't have much data about hurricanes. That's one interesting fact. Before 1960s, before the satellite, some hurricanes could have formed in the middle of the Atlantic and disappear, and nobody knows. So that means our records is kind of sketchy before 1960. So in fact, you don't have 60, 70 years of data of hurricanes, and that's not enough to give you the whole impact. For example, 2003, you have a hurricane in Brazil, my state, but never happened before. But the fact is, if it happened before we didn't have a satellites or any other information, you have this major storm in South Brazil in the late 1800s, nobody will know. So it's very hard to now find out what's going on. So I think if this short video here, I may have explained most of the questions you guys have. I'm very excited. I like it. Maybe eventually we can organize live discussion. It would be great if we can join together and use a top hat. You can discuss more about weather. So the hurricane is expected to landfall tomorrow. As you can see here, they call the landfall when the eye, as you can see here, the eye you're gonna touch. Oops. It's hard to show exactly. Let me go back here. Exactly the moment is gonna landfall, but sometime they expect around 7-8 a.m. You might have early 7 early morning, gonna have the landfall between 3 and 4 a.m. It will be this strong storm, and then probably it's gonna disappear very soon. So the other one, Marco, become something extratropical right now, or post-tropical. Is still going in the ocean, and sometimes, even though the models haven't captured yet, they might grow again. Hurricane is a really unusual phenomenon in the atmosphere, and that happen. You're gonna see during the semester when you learn all those modules. Is gonna give you an idea why you have a intense phenomena like this one: hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, and so on. We're gonna have a special module, module number 9, where you talk about all the severe weather. It'll be very interesting, and maybe we again be open for some discussion. So, all right, that's what I have for you today.